So what would happen if the internet, cell phone, and Wi-Fi completely stopped working? Well, first off, people would be super bored without their favorite TV shows or games. But there's more to it than that. The world would basically grind to a halt. In today's modern world, it's hard to believe that life was ever lived without Wi-Fi. Now, of course, you have your basic needs like food and water, but beyond that, Wi-Fi is pretty much the foundation that the modern world runs on. It's in everything from our cars to our refrigerators. But what would actually happen if one day you turned on your device and it just stopped connecting? You could try restarting your router or checking your connection, but those options would quickly become useless when you realized that the entire global infrastructure had completely shut down. It might start off with no TikTok or YouTube, which for some people would be a welcome change. Maybe you'd finally use that time to get a productive hobby or go outside for a walk. But after a few minutes, you'd realize that your bank account wasn't loading either. You could still go outside, walk to the ATM, and withdraw some cash. But at this point, you'd only have a few hours of fun before the gas in your car ran out, assuming you were able to start it up in the first place. After all, most new cars require Wi-Fi connection for the engine to turn over. Without it, they wouldn't move. As the day wore on, more and more problems would start to arise. Food production would slow down because most farms now use AI and GPS technology to optimize planting and harvesting. Farmers would be forced to rely on outdated methods while they figured out a way to connect back to the grid. This would cause a major spike in food prices within just a few weeks. At the same time, major corporations would be thrown into complete chaos. With no way to connect with their employees or customers, they would be unable to conduct any business. Some companies could limp along for a bit by using their satellite connections, but even that would eventually fail. Soon enough, the entire global economy would collapse. But why would something like this even happen in the first place? Well, it turns out that the entire infrastructure is actually controlled by just a few massive companies. And if one of them went down, it could take the whole thing with it. Just imagine if Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure were to experience a massive outage. All three of these companies provide back-end cloud computing services to countless other businesses. If their servers were to crash, a lot of websites would stop working. But there's also the possibility of a more targeted attack. Any one of these services could be hacked, causing thousands of other websites to go down with them. In fact, this actually happened in 2016 when a DNS service was hacked, taking down major websites like Twitter, Spotify, and Netflix. But how could someone take down one of these massive companies when they have billions of dollars in infrastructure? Well, believe it or not, it can be done by exploiting something called a distributed denial of service attack. Imagine if millions of people decided to visit one website at the exact same time. That website would quickly become overloaded and would be unable to respond to any additional requests. If this kept up, it could cause the server to crash. And this is just a small fraction of the problems that could take down the internet. There's also the possibility of solar flares, EMPs, hackers, malware, and the list goes on. Of course, there are multiple organizations that are constantly working to make the internet more secure. But the bottom line is that nothing is 100% safe. Even if we were able to somehow keep the internet running, there's still the very real threat of hackers stealing sensitive data. Just last year, a major pipeline was shut down after a cyber attack. This is why it's so important to have a backup offline hard drive with all your important files. While most of us don't need to worry about the internet going down tomorrow, it is smart to be prepared. After all, you never know when something might happen. So what would you do if the internet went down tomorrow? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our video on how long you could survive if society collapsed.